The Book of Enoch, banned from the Bible, reveals shocking mysteries of our history. The Enoch manuscript begins with a warning to all mankind and to the fallen angels who have made the earth a home of debauchery, bloodshed, and sorcery. The huge forbidden book was written about 200 years ago, with the earliest writings in it dating back to around 300 BC and the latest records around 100 BC. The Book of Enoch was removed from the Jewish and Christian biblical canons in the first centuries of the new calendar. It reveals secrets about which the Church is silent. According to the ancient writings, Enoch was the guardian of all the treasures of heaven, the chief of the archangels, and the immediate minister of the throne of God. There is also talk about the fallen angels and the fact that they sinned here on earth, because they began to multiply with earthly women and revealed to them heavenly secrets for which the human race was not yet ready. The prohibition of the book was most likely also influenced by the fact that it contained prophecies about Christ himself. Stay until the end of the video to find out what the most mysterious and sacred book in the entire spiritual history of mankind scares the Church with. Who is Enoch? Enoch is the son of Jared, a descendant of the first man, Adam, from his seventh generation, the great-grandfather of the famous Noah. He is a teacher and educator. His name translates as initiator. The Old Testament does not speak of his writings but still gives him a place in Genesis 5 verses 21 to 24, just enough to indicate the number of his years, 365, confirming the existence of his person and describing his life in the laconic phrase that has given rise to countless interpretations, and Enoch walked after God and disappeared because God took him. There is also a legend that Enoch is actually the biblical king and priest Melchizedek. One of the traditional explanations for the parallel existence of Christian apocryphal literature alongside the official one is that the Apocrypha provide answers where Holy Scripture is silent or behaves mysteriously. Enoch is also credited as the creator of writing and astrology. Enoch is recognized as a religious teacher, prophet, and sage who communicated with God. Prominent church fathers such as Justin Martyr, Athenagoras, Irenaeus, Clement of Alexandria, Origen, Tertullian, and Lactantius spoke of him with high regard, often referencing the Book of Enoch and, in some cases, recommending it as scripture. In the Book of Genesis, Enoch is listed as the seventh patriarch among the 10 who lived before the flood. While these patriarchs are noted for their centuries-long lifespans, Enoch stands out as an exception. Genesis 5 verses 22 to 24 tells us that Enoch lived 365 years, a significantly shorter period compared to others who lived over 700 years. Additionally, Hebrews 11 verse 5 states that Enoch did not see death. The Genesis account concludes with the enigmatic statement that he was not, for God took him. This suggests Enoch's exceptional devotion to the Lord and the Lord's special favor towards him. Some theories propose that Enoch was taken directly to God's kingdom, interpreted from the notion that he did not see death. Let's explore the 5 volumes written by Enoch to understand their contents and their impact. The Watcher's Book. This manuscript, written around 300 BC, begins with the story of the Watchers, or fallen angels, who become the Nephilim as mentioned in Genesis 6 verses 1 to 4. It also details Enoch's celestial journeys. The introduction describes Enoch as a righteous man who, through God's revelation, receives visions from the Holy One in heaven. These visions reveal the sons of God and their actions, which, though not for Enoch's generation, are destined for a future one. Additionally, the book narrates how God, accompanied by his heavenly hosts, comes to earth at Mount Sinai to deliver judgment on humanity. It emphasizes that all events are predestined by God and occur in his time, with sinners facing destruction while the righteous will continue to live in light, joy, and peace. The initial section covers the interactions between fallen angels and humans, including Semiazes compelling the remaining 199 angels to take human wives and bear children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said to them, "I am afraid that you will not really agree to do this deed, and I alone will have to pay the penalty for a great sin." And they all answered him and said, "Let us all swear and all bind ourselves by mutual oaths not to abandon this plan, but to do this deed." Then all together swore and bound themselves by mutual curses upon him. In total, there were 200 beings who descended during the days of Jared to Mount Hermon. They named it Mount Hermon because they had sworn mutual oaths there. This event led to the birth of the Nephilim, or giants, as described in the text. These giants grew to an enormous height of 300 feet and wreaked havoc on humanity, causing chaos and destruction on earth. The text also describes how fallen angels, particularly Azazel, corrupted human civilization. Azazel taught people to forge weapons, create armor, and work with various metals. He introduced them to jewelry, cosmetics, and the use of antimony, leading to widespread immorality and corruption. Other fallen angels contributed to this moral decay by teaching various forms of forbidden knowledge. Semjaz introduced enchantments, Armoros taught the removal of enchantments, Barakhijal focused on astrology, Kokabel on constellations, Ezekiel on cloud formations, Erekil on earth signs, Shamsal on solar signs, and Sariel on lunar courses. Seeing the chaos, the archangels Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel appealed to God for judgment on both the corrupt world and the fallen angels. God responded by sending Uriel to warn Noah about an impending cataclysm and instructed him to prepare for a great flood that would wipe out all life. God commanded Raphael to imprison Azazel, gave Gabriel directions regarding the Nephilim, and instructed Michael to bind other fallen angels. The Book of Proverbs. Chapters 37 to 71 of the Book of Enoch are called the Book of Proverbs. Here the scholarly debate centers on the thesis that it is based on the Book of the Watchers, as a supplement in which it presents the later development of the idea of the final judgment and eschatology, dealing not only with the fate of the fallen angels but also with the wicked kings of the earth. What is interesting about this book is that the expression, Son of Man, is used for the eschatological hero who is also called Righteous One, Elect One, and Messiah, sitting on the throne of glory at the final judgment. The first known use of Son of Man as a specific title in the Hebrew Scriptures is in the Book of Enoch, and its use may have played a role in the early Christian understanding and use of the title. The Astronomical Book. Four fragmentary editions of the Astronomical Book were found at Qumran. They also include material not found in later versions of the Book of Enoch. This book contains descriptions of the movement of the heavenly bodies as well as knowledge of the cosmos revealed to Enoch on his journeys to heaven, guided by Uriel. It describes the solar calendar, which was later also described in the Book of Jubilees used by the Dead Sea sect. The year was composed of 364 days, divided into 4 equal seasons of 91 days each. Each season consisted of 3 equal months of 30 days each, plus 1 extra day at the end of the 3rd month. Thus the whole year consisted of exactly 52 weeks. Each year and each season always began on Wednesday, which was the 4th day of creation as told in Genesis, the day on which the lights in the sky, the seasons, the days, and the years were created. The book, Dreams. It contains visions of Israel's history all the way back to what most interpret as the Maccabean revolt dated to the Maccabean period around 163 to 142 BC. According to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, it was written before the biblical flood. The book continues with visions and allegorical accounts of Israel's history in which animals are used as symbols of human beings and people as symbols of angels. The Message of Enoch? Scholars date this manuscript to around 170 BC. It is divided into 5 main sections. Apocalypse of the Weeks. This section outlines the history of the world in 10 periods, or weeks, with 7 covering past events and 3 focusing on future occurrences. The climax occurs in the 7th part of the 10th week, heralding a new heaven and a future filled with goodness and righteousness. Exhortation. This brief segment features Enoch's instructions to his son Methuselah, urging him to follow righteousness, and serves as a transition to the next part. Epistle. The epistle begins with a description of God's wisdom, the final rewards for the righteous, and the punishment for the wicked, distinguishing between the paths of righteousness and unrighteousness. It includes 6 oracles against sinners, the testimony of creation against them, and an assurance of their fate after death. The birth of Noah? Found in the Qumran fragments and separated from the previous text, this appendix discusses the flood and Noah's miraculous birth, noting that he appeared angelic. Conclusion. This final section, not present in the Qumran fragments and attributed to a later editor, contrasts the generation of light with the sinners doomed to darkness. Why is this ancient text often neglected or banned by official religions despite its rich historical insights? One reason may be its opening warning of divine judgment against the unworthy. It also describes the Nephilim, the giants from Genesis, and their role in the flood narrative, emphasizing God's warning to Noah. Enoch's accounts of his heavenly journeys, detailing the powers of heaven and the fate of the wicked, might also have been unsettling. Did the Church find the detailed and disturbing information about strange creatures and advanced technology inconvenient? The text openly discusses beings with advanced technology visiting Earth, sharing their knowledge with hybrid offspring, and the subsequent erasure of evidence by the Great Flood. Could this imply ancient alien visitations? How did Enoch ascend and descend between heaven and earth? Were these journeys with extraterrestrials, possibly with a ruler of their society? These questions remain largely unexplored and the text is often dismissed as apocryphal. However, by reading between the lines, we may one day uncover the truth. Thank you for watching another episode of Just Discovery. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for updates on more exciting content. See you next time.